Either way, it's June 18th. This is the second time I've had to make the video because my phone's randomly got no space, even though I've just literally uploaded everything off the phone. The amount of storage that it takes and stuff it takes to make these videos every day is stupid, like crazy how much space it takes. It's impossible to get it uploaded every day, so I'm losing half of my videos. Either way, all day I've just had to leave the Wetherspoons to internal braking sessions, internal transgressions, staring while inflicting crippling, degrading and humiliation. That's what they've relativised into the power of my own life. And what have you said it for then, while stripping massive portions of my life out? They're referring, or they've relativised me speaking out about my uncle's shop that he's had for 20 years, and I mentioned it to a solicitor randomly. And they've relativised, what have you said it for then? In other words, they've forced me to speak out about my uncle's shop so that then they can further access that part of my life. So I speak out about it, it gets mentioned, and they can infiltrate it and go into that part of my life. So in a controlled state, they've forced me to speak out about something absolutely insignificant to my life that's got no association with me whatsoever. It plays no, very limited, like I've just said on the other video. If I had to speak to somebody about my life and discuss my history, discuss my personal triumphs, my personal future, my personal gratification, or my everyday life, my uncle's shop would probably be like 300, 400 on list in what I'd have to go through. I'd go through 300, 400 other things about my history or my day-to-day life before I got to my uncle's shop. So they've cherry-picked information and forced me to speak out to a solicitor in a courtroom about something that's 300 or 400 on the list relevant to me. So if I speak out about facts about myself or my future whilst I'm speaking to a solicitor, I could have spoke about 300 or 400 facts about myself that have been more relevant to me before mentioning my uncle's shop playing a role in my life or having any involvement with my life. I'm not in any way associated to it, and I don't think I've ever done any work in there for about 20 years. So it's got nothing to do with me whatsoever, and they forced me to speak out about it and tell a solicitor about it so that they can use it against me. They can just infiltrate more and more of your life. So they forced me to speak out or cherry pick information that they want to use against me, and that's in every aspect. What they just gather whatever information they want to use against you in a controlled state and put it through the system. So now that they've forced me to speak out about my family and my family's businesses, now all of a sudden they've got probation officers and police officers got full entitlement to it because you spoke out about it. So that is why they commit crime against you whilst you're in a controlled state, because they force you to speak out about stuff that they want to use against you in a controlled state and force you to forget about what it is that you're actually trying to say. So like I've just said, they've been relativising what have you said it for then into an institutional cell phone, that to the point I had to leave the bar. I had to go. I got that sick of it. Internal transgressions, iris mortification of self, crippling humiliation, crippling degrading, relativising or committing crime against my power, relativising what have you said it for then. In other words, they've controlled me into speaking out about something that had nothing to do with my everyday life whatsoever, and I mean nothing. And they've put it through a courtroom. That's because the officers and the individuals in the system wanted to use that information against me or infiltrate that part of my life. And it's the exact same as crime. You'll be sat in an interview, you've got 200, 300, 400 more, potentially thousands of things to say to this individual, and you end up getting forced to speak out about probably the 400, 500 in the list of things that you want to speak about. It ends up getting used against you. So it's called cherry picking, whereby they're forcing you in a controlled state to speak out about issues that they want to use against you, but ignore the rest of the information. So they ignore the other 200, 300 factors in my life, 400 facts in my life, and just use the one piece of information, one fact, or one factor that they want to use against you. And in this case, it's me talking to a solicitor last year that mentioned about my uncle's shop, and that's probably like 300, 400, 500 in the list of facts that I'd say about myself. So they've ignored the fact of any of the other more important factors and just use that. And either way, I've just been sat in the spoons then, and internally they're inflicting crippling, iris degrading, relativising what have you said it for then, because they've controlled me into speaking out about it. And that's so that they can let the little knobhead colleagues in on it and the little dickhead colleagues go into my family's life and further infiltrate my family. So critical condition, problems still continue, still in a controlled state and still in internal breaking sessions with detective constables who are asking what have you said it for then whilst in a controlled state, because they've forced me to speak out about stuff that's not really relevant. It's not relevant whatsoever to my day-to-day life and very, very insignificant to life in general. So cherry picking information and then bombarding me with accusations internally about the crimes they've committed.